had the whole one catsuit thing,
Yeah.
which was already uncomfortable because, my torso is long, so nothing fits me. So I'm camel toeing it
I
up
was
in
gonna
this bad
say the
boy.
cameliest of toes.
Yeah. It's like proper knuckles, Like, for real. Because I think the last time I dressed up in something for Halloween, it was when I was still properly working from home, right? And it was meant to be we were still doing loads of stuff virtually. And
Okay.
and I was the only real one that made an effort. Like I proper had did the makeup and everything. And I got on there and everyone's just like some glitter and some cat ears. I was like, if you're gonna do something well.
It's got to be lonely on that hill of making an effort, It has to be. Especially with work stuff. I know people just be showing up. Just like, yeah, this headband will do.
I mean, this is the energy I'm going to channel from now on.
And just got like this whole avant-garde costume.
Even backgrounds and everything. Oh, I probably made sure I had like not really a green screen, but I made sure that I had something green behind me, and I put up.
Oh yeah,
because at the time Teams was being cool, so it had like Halloweeny themed backgrounds.
yeah.
So I'm in some graveyard, all up in my makeup, and then people just like, the cat is rude.
Oh God. That's so annoying. I'd be so annoyed.
Yeah. Especially
I'd be
because I
so
wasn't
annoyed.
going anywhere. I'm just in my bedroom on my works Teams call.
Yeah.
And as soon as that ends, I'm taking it off. So the fact I'd made such an effort, and I was so pleased with it. I was so pleased.
Of course you are.
Most of the time when you like do dress up stuff, there's only been a couple of times where like in terms of makeup, I've really, really made an effort. So Katie can like hold a hand up and say she's made an effort because for one of her birthdays, she had a fancy dress. She came as, I think it was Shira. So she was all up,
Oh, that's cool.
dressed.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
came, I don't even remember what her name is, but Zoe, um,
Chanel? No.
no. Got so many Zoes. No, I was thinking about the one who's in like all of the films, Marvel, what's her name?
No, if it's a
So I
Marvel,
just
I'm out.
yeah. Tapped out.
No.
She was the Avatar girl. So I was in all blue makeup
Oh, yeah, her. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and did all of the stuff. I had the whole one catsuit thing,
Yeah.
which was already uncomfortable because, my torso is long, so nothing fits me. So I'm camel toeing it
I
up
was
in
gonna
this bad
say the
boy.
cameliest of toes.
It's like proper knuckles, and I'm trying to just
Trying to be cute.
You cannot
Oh
be cute with a
no.
camel toe. Oh, it was
No,
uncomfortable, but I served
I bet you
because I
did.
love her. So that's why I'm just like, sheet. I'll be coming with a sheet.
Oh yeah, I need to think about that actually. Okay. I
Anyway.
need to, yeah. I'll do something. I'll have to with that background story. I had
or
better.
or we both agree to just like, come 50%. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. If you can
Show
rustle,
up.
yeah.
If you show up, then we're good with a little bit of something.
No,
Even if
I
it's just like
absolutely will.
dribble of like some blood, whatever. I'll be good with that. And there's me in like a Chewbacca outfit.
No, I will. I
No.
will absolutely aim to do something. I will.
Okay.
Be fun. We've got
Yeah.
to talk. Anyway, we can leave that for when we're offline.
Yes. Yeah. Because for now, we are Red lights on. We're
Online.
recording. Yeah, we're recording. I don't know why, but I was just about to do the Annie. That's yeah.
Oh.
Don't worry about that. Okay, so hi everyone. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Craziness and Frolics. It's all frolics, guys. With myself, Amy G, turning it all up in the autumnal colours of reds, oranges, even my nails, but they need to be done. So don't mind the white bits at the bottom. And the wonderful masterpiece that is Monique. Yeah, nails did, right?
Yeah, but also need to redo.
Why is it? And especially with brown, look at that. That is crazy.
It doesn't even, I literally just had this conversation a couple of days ago. Because they are like gels, I feel like you can get away with a bit of new growth, you know? Because
so if it's just regular nail polish, it doesn't look good?
Typically because it's chipped to death. So no, it doesn't. But because the color's intact and it's all growing up evenly, I'm just like, you can get away with like an extra week, you know?
An extra week. Jokes.
Or two.
No, tag it.
Depending on the schedule.
When it's like halfway down your nail, you're like, I've left it too long.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just asking for them to break at that point.
Oh, yeah, I know. And actually, do you know what I love? Sorry, we're doing a bit of a detour, but one thing that I do love about having like gels on my nails is the fact that they get to grow, because if it's just my natural nail, I catch it on any and everything.
Isn't it so annoying? I feel like my nails only grow when there's gel on them.
Yeah.
Why?
It's like they're wearing armor.
No? Yeah, possibly.
Extra strength. I don't know, but yeah, mine need to be done this week, preferably. So before we launch into whatever we're going to launch into, because we're going to make it up on the fly.
It's a mystery to us all.
Yeah. We're really tapping into our lean into the uncomfortability aspect of things of an Aries. So remember to do it for self. Hit the S, subscribe. E, engage in any way you feel comfortable, whether it be a little message, slide into our DMs. We love a little slide, electric preferably. And L for like. So I always do the thumbs up. Hit that like button. Let us know that you're enjoying the content or just enjoying us, you know. And F for follow or forward, guys. Follow us on our journey of madness or forward to a friend who will likely also enjoy the craziness that we provide every week. For me, it's been a couple of weeks since we last did a proper kind of catch up, because I haven't seen you properly. And I feel like I have lost the touch. So I may need you to just nudge me along on my craziness.
Girl. Me? You sure? No, of course. Of course. I got you.
Thank you very much. So I know, well, it must have been a couple of episodes now that we mentioned we were going to do a review of what is it called? Is it like The Secret Lives of Mormon?
I think
or
it is.
It just
I mean,
I can't remember. Anyway, it's the Mormon Wives reality crazy show that is out there at the moment.
Yeah.
Secret Lives. So at the time, I had seen the trailer. You hadn't seen anything. You just seen what was it, like a reaction?
I saw like a reaction to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we agreed we were going to watch a couple of episodes of that craziness, which we have.
We have indeed.
Good. So initially, what are your thoughts? Download me.
So when I watched episode 1, I was just like, oh no. And I've got to watch the rest. I was just like, I don't know. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, honestly. I think I didn't expect everyone to be so young.
Mm.
Um, like I think the youngest girl is like 24 and the oldest maybe about 30. Um, and I kind of found myself like my concentration kind of like going up and down. There was like little parts where they I just kind of felt like they were like a gaggle of hens, just like chatting about shit, and I was just like, oh, this is like young people stuff. I can't
Yeah.
relate to this. This is long. Do you know what I mean? Like problems that aren't really problems, you know? So I was just like, oh man, this is long. This is long. Um, and then when episode 2 kind of kicked in, I was like, oh no, I think I might be able to stick this out. And
Really?
side note, I am on like episode 6 now. And that happened in 2 days.
Wow. So I
Yeah, yeah.
stopped. I stopped after episode 2. One, because I downloaded it to watch whilst I was like
Mm-hmm.
doing other things, which was traveling. Um, I felt like there was a lot that happened in the first episode. Like I don't
Were
know
you
what I
picked
was
by it?
no,
Okay.
I wasn't. I was kind of like by the end I was a bit gripped because I mean, hopefully not giving too many spoilers away, but I'm assuming most people have seen it. But just like in terms of the arrest or like the conversation that was
Yeah.
happening at the end. So by
Wait,
then I was
sorry.
just like,
Let me just say, we can't talk about this without spoilers.
oh
So
yeah, yeah, true.
we'll do a
Maybe we should just
disclaimer.
make a point. Yeah. Disclaimer,
Yeah.
spoilers. So the first part of it, I was just like, it just launched straight into the mess that
Yeah.
was happening. And I don't know. I was just, you're very right when you're saying about this is young people stuff. And they were just like problems that aren't problems. And I think my big thing was when Taylor, I
Mm-hmm.
think, who's the main like protagonist of all of this stuff going on,
Yeah.
when she was sitting having a conversation with her mum, I
Her
think this
mum.
is still episode 1, and like just drops she's just such a child, and I'm like, you've
Yeah.
got kids of your own and you're out here whiling
Yeah.
like you have no responsibilities. And
Yeah.
her mum was right, like she was just like, I don't want to have to pick up all of this mess again. And she's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I wish my mum was just a bit more supportive. Then girl, do stuff that she could be supportive of instead of out here hoeing it up with different man them, you know?
Stop it. Do something then to make her proud. That is jokes. Yeah. Her mum, yeah, because I think she just said, oh, I think I might need to take a pregnancy test. And it looks like her mum wanted to say more than she actually said.
Well
But
done to her. She was like,
yeah, the first thing she did was like, "Oh, you're so stupid." I was like, oh, okay. She wasn't trying to sugarcoat anything, but she definitely wanted to say more than she did,
yeah.
for sure.
I
And
guess
then she
for
sort of bopped it
her,
off.
she popped off.
She was just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
You're
I was
not going to
like,
catch
before
me
she
winding
said,
up on camera.
exactly. She held herself very, very well because there would have been fists, I think, if I was, I just be like, you're dragging me through. The fact is, though, for her parents, like they are religious, you know?
Yeah.
So for their child who they have raised through this religion to be out here actively throwing all of the thou shall nots in her
Mm,
face.
yeah.
Well, watch me, essentially, is what she's saying. Doing all of these things. And her parents are just like, this is so against everything that I believe in. And
Yeah.
yet you're sitting here and just being like, so yeah, I need you to watch the kids because I'm going to be taking a pregnancy test later. I'm like, you've just been divorced a month ago and you're out here.
Yeah. I
But
mean, I feel like, though, that's one of the possibilities when you are raised so strictly. Do you know what I mean? With these really strict confines of what you should and shouldn't be doing. For certain personality types, it's got to feel like they're just walking through life in a straitjacket, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and with her little bio, it looked like she'd been wild from day. So
Yeah.
I just feel like, are we surprised? I don't know. It wasn't giving surprise to me, to be honest.
No. I think that was giving despair. Her mum was just like,
Yeah.
she has been sent to test me ongoing
Yeah.
of like my faith. Just
I did you catch why the whole scandal started? Because essentially what happened is that she just kind of given context why this whole show was created in the first place, right? So she started this thing called Mum Talk, and it's kind of given like mums that do dances on TikTok, right? And I think they were just trying to show a different side to the Mormon lifestyle. And then sort of cut to her doing a live where she's just like telling everybody that they kind of soft swing. It's not like full swinging, but like make out sessions have happened between the couples and stuff. I didn't catch why she did
she
that.
was doing it. I think
Yeah,
I
I
think it was
totally missed that.
something that she was being named for doing things, and I feel like she was just coming on live and being like, it's not just me.
Oh, okay.
Do you know, that's what it was giving. I
Mm.
can't remember specifically what actually happened because I guess I was not paying that much attention to it, but
Right.
it was just
Okay.
kind of like it came across like she was just like, hey, I just want to make you aware that, yeah, maybe I've been doing some of this stuff, but actually it's not just me, like
Yeah.
everyone's doing it, we're all doing it together.
Yeah.
um and then, or I can't remember if it was something like she got found out or accused of cheating on her husband, but her husband was aware of stuff that was going off on anyway. And then
Okay.
because of the whole scandal, they ended up divorcing. And yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
And then she got with
What?
some next dude.
Yeah, I'm just a bit. He, I mean, we can come on to him a little bit later if we're still going to talk about episode one, but I'm not sure about this guy at all. He's definitely giving like aeroplane controller with these red flags. Do you know what I mean? Just not sure about him at all. But what are we thinking about her? I nearly said best friend, but she's not her best friend. The other lady in the group called Whitney.
The one who went to Hawaii and then came back.
Right. What are your initial thoughts on Old Whit?
Well, it's an interesting dynamic because I feel like these two are like the alpha females of the group and they like butt heads. And one is giving, I subscribe to the whole Mormon thing a lot more than this wild child over
Mm,
here. And um but I feel like she is just as deep. Well, no, she's not just as, because I feel like Taylor has no filter. She just is. What you see is what you get. A
yeah.
whole lot of mess, from my perspective. She does
Yeah.
not hold herself together. Well, episode 2, she comes across slightly
There
differently.
we go. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
she has
yeah.
grown from her arrest experience, but she is fully blown pregnant also. So maybe that has changed her approach to life slightly. Um, and I feel like Whitney is taking full advantage
Yeah.
of this shift.
Yeah.
And so she's like behind going, oh my God, like maybe we should bring it back to normal and like what it used to be before of this whole scandal was caused. And then the other one's just like, so what, kick Taylor out? Because she's the reason for the scandal, right? She's the one who brought all of this stuff to light, regardless of whether or not she actually is the scandal, but
Yeah.
she shone a light on it and dragged them all in. um to the limelight because they were the ones doing the shit too. Just putting it
That
out
part.
there.
That's what I didn't get. Everyone's, saying like talking like they weren't part of it. They weren't doing these things too, right? Which
Yeah.
is kind of weird.
And that's the
It's
thing,
that
is
they're
just
very
like
elusive about it.
at least Taylor held up her hand and took
That's it.
accountability. She's just like, hell yeah, I was
Yeah.
up in here doing all of this ratchet shit, but you
Yeah.
were too. And they're like, why did you drag me in this? Like, it's like, I'm not part of this whole thing. bitch, you were there. You were doing the
Listen,
thing. It
I
was
made
making
out
me
with
laugh.
your husband and you saw me.
Yeah.
So
You were
what are you
like, woo,
doing?
girl. Yeah, put some more tongue in it, Like,
Yeah. Whitney, I feel like um so I do really like Taylor. I feel like even though yes, she is the wild child, I think she owns it. Do you know what I mean? And it is giving what you see is what you get. Whereas I feel like I feel like she's actually jealous of Taylor. I feel like she kind of
mm,
wants that number one spot. But I feel like she's very underhanded. You know,
yeah.
I feel like she's quite secretive. There's more of a facade there.
Yeah. She is the snake
Um,
in the grass.
she really is. And sh- yeah, she as this series progresses, I feel like she has kind of fallen out of favor with me.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely. So there's a part in episode 1, right, where after she comes back from Hawaii, she kind of gets the girls together so she can like reveal. Is it a secret? I guess it's a secret, right? So with all of
yeah.
this uproar of everyone swinging, soft swinging, um, there were some rumors about her husband being on Tinder or something, which she kind of just like poo-pooed away. Turns out he was absolutely on Tinder, sending nudies, receiving nudies, had a porn addiction that he was battling, and she basically just kind of confirmed that with the group. Um, so after she kind of like has her moment and they kind of console her and kind of get clarity over what's happened, and I guess like lend her their support, right? Taylor then comes in and updates the rest of the group about her pregnancy too. And it looks like Whitney's engaging, like asking questions like how you doing and all of that sort of stuff. And then when you get to the confessional part, where they're sort of having that conversation with the camera, she's
Yeah.
pissed. She's pissed that Taylor basically stole her moment. So I'm just like, but if this is your group of friends that you say are your friends, they're your girls, they're your support system, why would it be a problem that one of your girls is also seeking
Going through some
support from the
stuff.
group?
Mm,
You know what I mean? It's just from that, I was just like, this one, not sure about you.
yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Unless I'm being too harsh, but I'm just like,
no,
you're
you're
not
not
giving
being harsh
girls
at all.
girl. You're not giving girls girl
And
at all.
I get that she was like, this is a big thing for me. And so oh, it took a lot of, I guess, courage to reveal what was going on for her. And it clearly did really rock her because it looked like she struggled to get that out
Mm,
initially.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and then with Taylor dropping her news on the group, well, I don't know. I did feel a little bit like Taylor didn't need to say anything in that moment.
Okay. You think she should have held on to it for like what the next gathering or?
I don't know. Like she was just saying, I might be, rather than, do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, but again, you are right. If it's your friends and you're just like shooting the shit and sharing your stories and needing support from one another, then that is the right opportunity to kind of say, I'm glad that we're in this space and we feel safe and we can share and,
Yeah.
this is where I'm at. So, but it could also be all of the editing of like, oh
Yeah.
God. Do you know what I mean? And
I doubt.
there's clearly competition between the two of them, regardless of whether or not Taylor's aware of it, because I think Taylor's just Taylor and she's out there and she does her stuff.
Yeah. I don't feel like she feels as like there's competition. I don't feel like she's trying to compete. That's the thing. I feel like she's
Yeah,
just showing
who
up.
she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then episode
Mm.
2 felt like a completely different shift to episode 1 for
I
me.
reckon episode 1 was a pilot, because
Oh,
clearly like a considerable amount of time had passed because
yeah, she's
she's
real
pregnant.
pregnant.
Yeah. So yeah, I reckon 1 was the pilot and then 2 was like where it sort of really started to go. So episode 2 was like her baby shower, right?
Mm.
So if we're going to stick on this whole Whitney train, Whitney chose not to show up to her shower because she doesn't feel like they're friends. So again, it's just like, what happened? Are we really
Not,
not? Are we really not friends? Because I chose to. I always put myself in these things like I'm involved. I'm not.
yeah, but you're seeing it from their perspective.
I always pick a person there and like just ride. I need to be a bit more like impartial. But it's just like, okay, so you're not, what, you're not talking to Taylor because she stole your moment. It's just, come on. It's just giving super petty again, unless I missed something.
No, I don't think so. I think,
but
like, Taylor wasn't even aware, you know, like if that was the
that's it,
case,
yeah.
if that was the case and you didn't feel like you were friends, then maybe you should have just, when she invited you, just like send her a text and just say, look, I don't feel comfortable showing up to your shower
Yeah.
because I don't feel that we're as close anymore. And it would just feel a bit fake me being there. I know that both of us are like, we don't like confrontation and stuff, but I don't feel like that's the confrontation. I feel that's just like being honest with yourself and with your, at once upon a time, your friend.
Yeah.
About what's really going on with you at that time.
Yeah.
So the
And even
fact
if
that
you
she
couldn't
was
say
like
it,
at this spa bitching and moaning to
this is
this
it. That's what
child.
really irritated me. Everyone else knew about it, but the person she had the issue with.
Yeah.
Come on, that's so jarring. It's like you got all of this mouth for everybody else, but not her. Come on.
I did love the fact though that Taylor's mum just called her up and was like, hey,
Mortifying.
so we're all at this, thing. That would be
I'm
my
not a
worst
fan of her
nightmare
mum.
is if I got a call from the mum and was just like, where you at? Like, reception's really bad. And then silence.
What do you
not
say?
disturb.
Let me. Ooh, what would you say if you were like on the spot like that? Because she didn't realize it was her mum, right? Because I think Whitney didn't realize it was Taylor's mum that called because she doesn't have her number saved. And she did say later on that if she knew it was her, she wouldn't have answered. Fair. But if that was you on the spot, your self-proclaimed enemy, his mum has called, what are you saying as to why you're not there?
I would just tell her the truth. I'd just be like, I'm not there because we're not that close anymore. And I just didn't feel comfortable being there, celebrating someone that I don't really know anymore. And I would probably say it's shit that I didn't tell her before. And I will hold my hand up and say that's poor of me. But I just think it would be worse if I was there, fake smiling, fake clapping, and fake celebrating, than
When you don't
not
want to
be
be
there.
Yeah, that's true.
And why would she want me there if she didn't? If it's not genuine, it would make her feel uncomfortable too. So, and I'd leave it at that. Be like, thanks for dropping in and checking though. And then and then on the other end, I'll be like this.
Just drenched in sweat. Yeah.
You know
God.
You know that meme of what's that guy of Peel on something, and he's just got like dripping
all the water. Yeah.
That would be me.
Yeah. She was so wrong for that. Oh, that kind of stuff just really irritates me, man. Really irritates me. All of the mouth to everybody else, but not the person you so-called have a problem with. And that's why I feel like there's not a problem between you. She has a problem with her. Do you know what I mean? There's not been any fallout because Taylor's just gone on about her business, just like, how come my friend is not here? I thought we were friends, but apparently we're not close enough where you could even drop me a message to say, hey, sorry, can't make it. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm trying to think what else happened in that one. I do have a couple. Oh, so Dakota, Taylor's partner, moves in to the parents' house. How wild is it that the parents didn't know he was moving in until until the moment he was moving in? What on earth is that? I was,
Classic Taylor.
but I mean, I feel like even like Dakota himself, wouldn't he want to like have a chat with her parents first? Like, you're about to be living in someone else's home. It's just weird to me that he didn't feel any kind of way about, moving to someone else's house to want to have a conversation about it first. Like, what are the house rules? How much rent I'll be paying? Like nothing at all. Just gonna rock up. But then it could be an age thing, maybe. I don't know.
Hang on, I must admit, I must have missed that then, because it's not her parents' house, is it, that they're moving into? It's Taylor's house.
Is it? I thought she was.
I thought
Oh,
I thought so. I thought that he's moving into her
to her
house
house.
and she'd invited her parents over. Yeah.
Oh, girl. This is why. This is why I should watch programs with people. I've just created a whole subplot. Oh, okay. If that's the case, yeah, fine.
Yeah,
That's a
because
moot
if he's
point
moving
then.
into the parents' house, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why I thought she was back with her parents.
Jokes.
That's hilarious.
Uh,
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah. Because it was weird. I mean, I guess one thing that I did catch is that obviously they're not happy that he's moving in, right? Because they're not married. And Taylor was just like, well, the intention is to get married, but she's scared to do so right now just because she's been married before. Their relationship is still a bit rocky. So she's kind of just trying to take it slow in that respect. And she was just like, would you rather like I do it by myself then? And her mum was just like, yeah. Which, what? For the sake of like, this is why some religions I'm just like, again, religion is a techie thing, and I'm not trying to poo poo other people's beliefs, but I just feel like when they kind of outweigh the well being of people, especially your child, that's a bit,
mm.
that's too far for me. Do you know what I mean? You'd rather your daughter struggle with two small children and one on the way by herself than have her partner move in and help. Nuts.
I can't remember much about the second episode. I think the first, I mean, yeah, just the baby shower and then the whole Dakota thing. I mean, so I think in the first episode, Taylor dropped that he is a recovering addict
Mm-hmm.
and he has come back to the church and now he's like working on his faith and is trying to avoid the situations where which could lead him back into the path of temptation, right? Which
Yeah.
is how the first episode ended because she went on a bender and
Yeah.
he was, yeah.
Did he get arrested too, or was it just her? Can't
I
remember.
think it was just her because I think she was arrested on domestic violence kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah. It might have been just
charges.
her. Yeah, yeah.
And which is also bizarre that they got back together.
I mean, babes love a toxic relationship. What can I say? I've
No.
literally got nothing else. She might be in her like I can change him era.
Also,
Everyone's
it
been
keeps it
there.
exciting, doesn't it? Like a bit of drama every now and again. Like, who wants just happy?
I know. Where's the work? I'm here for an adventure, damn it. Yeah. But also you got to remember their ages as well. Do you know what I mean? Not to say that this is like typical, but when you're younger, there's just more that you, I think, put up with. You're still learning yourself as well. She has two young children already. She has one on the way. She's getting pressure from parents, from the church to, to live and do things a certain way. So she might be feeling that she kind of has to make it work. I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, because I know that I can remember from the episode that she was talking about feeling ashamed to go back to church because of everything that had happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hate that notion as well. With any churches, I just feel like if the message is to forgive and, you know, is about community and bringing people in and showing them the right way, I don't get why there is so much judgment and why people are quick to be like cut out or excommunicated. Like, surely those ones that have so-called strayed should be the ones that need the most love and attention, right? To be brought back in. But as I said, religion is it's a tricky one. I don't think much more else happens in episode 2 outside of that baby shower, Whitney not showing up. She did get a brand deal for like 20K for to post about a vibrator, which I think she probably ended up doing, but I don't think that went down well with her mum when she spoke to her mum about it. But I mean, and also 20 grand for one post. Honestly,
and it was just a picture holding the thing.
A picture.
Listen, 20 grand. Come on over. Come on over. Hell, for 20 grand, I'll use it. Don't worry about it. I will give you a full review.
Literally, like,
I won't use it on the post. That's
no.
OnlyFans.
Also clarify that, yeah. But yeah, that's crazy. I'm starting to understand like the influencer lifestyle now. Like 20 grand for one post is crazy.
I know.
Maybe I should start posting more. Build a following.
Tell me what it's like. Tell me what it's like over there, because anybody got time for
that part. I can tell you already, it's tiring. And I'm just speaking about it hypothetically. I'm tired.
That's funny.
Yeah, but this, I don't know, it's taken me kind of by surprise. As I said, episode 1, I was just like, I'm gonna struggle to watch this. But I guess like any good reality TV drama, it's done in a way where, you know, it reels you in. We do love a bit of drama. And also, I think we as well are just kind of like fascinated with just the dynamics of people and how they interact. We can't help but do like a psychology deep dive, you know? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing this. I think there's chatter already about season 2. So I reckon it gets better as it goes along.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, maybe I need to hold out for a couple more episodes, because at the end of 2, I was just like, I might have to just confess to Mo that this is not
just
for me.
Not feeling it. That's how I felt
at
episode 1. I was just like, oh no, what have I done? What have I done? Okay, see how you go though. I mean, we're not gonna white knuckle it through this life, as we said. It's meant to be fun. So if you get to episode 3 and you're just like, Mo, I'm out, cool, that's fine. I'll just watch the rest and fill you in offline.
Okay, cool. Let me try the third one. Let me try the third one and see how I go. Because honestly, watching that, and then I noticed, I've not watched any crime stuff recently, which was always my go-to. And then I delve straight into like, it's a Netflix
Is it
series
Monsters?
called like, no. The Worst Ex, or My Worst Ex, or something.
Yeah.
Like 4. And they were harrowing. And then I'm currently watching this thing about American Story for Lacey Patterson or something like that. So, and it's so I'm like delving into that, because I was just like, there was a lot in there and I needed to cleanse my soul and
Wait,
go
hold
back to
on.
the
With
dark.
Death and Murder.
Exactly.
Oh my
Exactly. That's how
God.
bad it was. I was just like,
This is too
I'm
apple
not
pie.
sure. And not even apple pie. This is like, that sticky toffee stuff. Like it's just too
Yes.
much. It's an
Wait, why did I
overload. It's
have the
like,
same visual? Like, I know exactly what you mean. It's just too sweet, it's too much, too artificial, it's sherbet. Where's the murder?
yeah.
That is
With murder,
insane.
exactly.
I have to like really build myself up to watch that kind of stuff. Like, I can't. It's just, no, man, I don't need to know that there are humans out there like that. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
But at
I
the same
know.
time, it's riveting watching. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm watching it, I'm enjoying it, but I'm not enjoying that I'm enjoying it. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I almost said mob wives.
Have you seen that?
I never watched it. Did you ever see it? Did you ever watch
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. So when I was living with the girls in Belsize Park, that was something that we would watch
Watch
together.
together. That's cute.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But actually, I tell you what, this Mormon Wives thing is not far off, apart from the fighting that actually happened in Mob Wives.
I mean, give it time. It looks like it's coming, honestly.
Oh my gosh. So I said that I will stick through with one more episode and see how I get on.
We'll give it one more.
Yeah. And I can't make any promises because
that is fine. I mean, time needs to be spent wisely because there are no refunds. We get none of it back. Don't, use it doing something you don't actually want to do. So that's fine.
I wouldn't even mind if I just like really enjoyed it. It's just, it was not, I didn't, based on the trailer, I was thinking, oh, this is a bit of me. And then watching it, I don't know, maybe it's just like poor production or whatever, but it was just, it felt so staged. It felt staged. None of it really felt real, like at all. It felt like, it feels like a lot of the American shows that I don't like watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I can't buy into it, because I'm like, are these people even real? Are they or are they characters that are just like they read their script that morning and then they're like,
Yeah. There's just like a lot of talk about them getting this thing back up and running, but no actual action to getting this thing back up and running. So it's just like, what are we doing here?
Now, is that coming from the fact that you've watched 6 episodes and that's still what's going on? Don't tell me. But I don't know if you're speaking from a place of like, I've watched 2 episodes and this is my thoughts on it, or I've watched 6 episodes and they're still chatting about the same shit, in which case, sign me out, bitch. I do not want to be here.
Well, you let me know after watching episode 3.
Okay. Okay.
Spoiler alert. She comes back and says, nah, I'm out.
A couple of episodes, I can't remember, but basically this week I have listened. No, not this week. It was last week. Oh God, I'm missing all of the times that I listened to the episode that was released, our episode that was released. And you put me forward for an activity, and I have actually done that activity for a change, because
Not
usually I sign
surprised.
myself up. I know I was, because generally I'm like, yeah. So by this time next week, I'll have done this. And then this time next week comes around and I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember I said I was going to do this thing and I haven't even thought about it since.
At least you remember. I be saying stuff all the time. And it's like the moment I use my mouth, it's gone.
That's the problem with us recording ourselves, because we have evidence that we've said we were going to do the thing.
It's a gift, really.
Yeah. I mean, so I partially did the thing because your challenge to me was to write something joyful, and it's not joyful, but I wrote.
But you wrote.
So
There we go. It's still a win.
there you go.
It's
And
still a win.
I am prepared to read it out.
Ooh.
So apologies. I'll read it out.
Gather round to the reading
Yeah.
corner.
There is this is like free flowing. So literally what I tried not to do is to censor myself with this. It's all fictional, by the way, people. I have to put this out there. This is like a little story that's come to mind. But what I didn't want to do is like have too much structure around it. So there's no like character development behind this. There's no real thought into who or what these people are doing. It literally hits the page and that it is what it is. So
Okay, let's go.
here we go. I also haven't finished it yet, but here we go. Why we're cycling, I couldn't tell you. There seemed to be no rhyme or reason to this outing, but here we are, stuck at a roundabout. The traffic is intense and no one's taking pity on us. Sasha, that's a character, by the way. Sasha appeared to be as uncomfortable as I did, and also in a rush because he's now right beside me about to overtake. Come on, I'll push through. I shrugged. I really didn't want to go first in the first place. He was edging forward slowly, making a point to traffic that I was in tow, and slowly the cars stopped to let us go. Finally. We weren't that far from base, and Sasha started picking up speed. I wasn't about to push myself more than I needed to, so settled into a comfortable place for the rest of the journey. He was waiting for me when I arrived back at our hub for the week. About 10 minutes later, there was an unfamiliar woman with him. They seemed to know each other, but neither really appeared happy to see one another. She was much shorter than him and looked to have an East Asian heritage. I parked my bike a few strides away from them both and started to chain it up. Sasha, having already secured his bike, started towards me, mystery woman in tow. So what's jokes? I'm just going to pause right now. I've created a name for this person and I cannot pronounce it. I don't know why it came to me. So I'm going
You on a holiday mode.
listen. So let me
trying to
just
get all exotic.
let me just change it quickly to
Like
okay.
James.
No.
Or Adam.
No. So I'm just going to call this character Ada.
Okay.
Okay. So hilarious. Ada, I'd like you to meet my wife, Mari. She came to surprise me. Mari was beautiful. Her skin was flawless, no makeup apart from a pale pink gloss on her lips. Her long, dark, straight hair was pulled into a low ponytail, tied with a skinny bit of ribbon, the same color as her navy, turning the page, shift dress. I threw her a smile and waved as I struggled, wrapping and connecting the security chain around the bike. Sasha lunged forward. Let me get that for you. Thanks. I relinquished the chain and let him take over. I squinted back at Mari, who stood watching her husband efficiently loop and lock the bike in barely any time at all. My hair started falling into my face, slightly damp with the sweat. I tucked it behind my ear and wiped my clammy hands down the front of my shirt. What brings the surprise? I ask. Mari doesn't tear her eyes away from her husband for 1 second and just shrugs. I get the feeling that there may be trouble in paradise and decide to leave them to it. Sasha had secured the bike and was now standing beside me, holding the backpack I'd discarded on the floor. He held it up for me to take. Oops, I'd forget my head if it wasn't attached. I grab my bag and make a start for the hotel, which is just a couple of minutes away to our right. I fling a hand up as a wave. Nice to meet you, Mari. Sasha, I'll see you later, dude. I didn't wait for a response. It felt like a storm was brewing, and I wanted to make sure that there was plenty of distance between it and me before it broke. The pressure and caress of the water in the shower I treated myself to once I got into my hotel room was most welcome. I stood beneath the cascade for what felt like hours, letting the water fall over my face and into my hair, trickling down my back and splashing at my ankles. The heat of the day and the unnecessary exertion of the bike ride was spiraling down the drain. I wanted to lather myself in lotion and pop my PJs and order in, but we had a stupid work dinner to attend. The thought of work brought my mind back to Sasha and his wife and the tension that was almost tangible. I would never ask, but I was dying to know what it was all about. I mean, to show up at work event to surprise your other half felt weird. Theo, my partner, wouldn't even dream of it. I didn't even want to be here. Work hadn't done too bad on the accommodation front. It was no Ritz, but it wasn't budget either. The bed was really comfortable, a real Goldilocks situation and massive. It was nice being able to stretch out like a starfish and not have to worry about kicking Theo in the shins. Glancing at the clock, I had about 2 hours until I had to be at the restaurant for dinner. That was a dangerous time lapse. Not enough time to go somewhere and explore, but too much time to lounge about in the room. Once I got comfortable, I definitely wouldn't want to go anywhere. Just then, my phone pinged. I whipped my head around the room, scanning all surfaces. It pinged again. Definitely a message, and probably Theo telling me about his day so far. I knew that what his evening held, a glass of red, a pizza, and some car-themed scrolling online. The familiarity of my home and Theo brought a smile to my face. Where was that bloody phone? I moved a few discarded clothes on the bed, chucking them on the floor. Those will be picked up as soon as I found my phone, which I finally find tucked between the pillows on the bed. Surprisingly, the messages aren't from Theo, but from Sasha. The first one asking where I was, and the second with 3 question marks. The second message got my back up immediately. Even though the two of them are friendly, God, I am changing like presents and past and all of the tenses at once. So I apologize.
No, it's flowing fine. Go. Keep
Da-da-da.
going.
Even
You're
though
self-editing. as
I
you're
know, as
reading.
I'm
Stop.
reading,
Yeah,
even
just
even though the two of us are friendly, even more so recently after bonding over our mutual dread of socializing on this work trip. But the 3 question marks read aggressive and impatient, 2 things I never had time for. I was tempted not to respond, but then a third message pinged through. Instead of reading it via the notification bars that appeared at the top of your screen, I actually opened the message. I'm sorry, that was very impatient of me. I just had I guess you could call it an argument with my wife, and I'm still a bit. Anyway, I was checking to see if I could meet up with you for a drink before the stupid dinner. If I drink alone, I think I might not make it. No worries if not. I typed back and said that I'd meet him in 15 minutes in the foyer and then grabbed the lotion and headed back to the bathroom. Had to dry my hair too. As the lift doors opened, I spied Sasha leaning against the front desk. He graced me with a little wave and I walked towards him. He looked miserable, so I smiled, hoping it was one of sympathy, not pity. I was barely a step away when he pushed off the side and started for the door. I just about caught up with him when he got to the bottom of the hotel entrance. Hey, hold up, what's the rush? Also, where are we going? Sasha pointed up ahead and kept walking. I decided to follow in silence behind him. He clearly needed to let off some steam. We walked about 10 minutes from our hotel in the opposite direction to where we were going for dinner, I noticed, before he glanced behind him at me and nodded over to a bar. By the time we reached it, he seemed to be a lot calmer. He opened the door for me. The smell of smoke hit hard as soon as you walked in, which was weird because it hadn't been legal to smoke indoors for years. I pulled up to the bar with Sasha, hot on my heels. What would you like to drink? He asks. I'm easy, any beer as long as it's not Foster's, and I'll be having a pint. I smile as I push away from the bar and start to walk over to an unoccupied booth. For 5 p.m, the bar is pretty busy already. I assume with the after-work crowd, it was a Thursday, so technically the weekend. I scoot over to the booth and I'm just about to get in a comfortable position with full view of the bar and entrance because I love people watching, when Sasha is making his way over with 2 pints of beer and 2 packets of Twiglets. We're so British, I laugh as he plonks my drink and a packet down in front of me. He smiles back, a genuine warmth in his eyes. I take a sip and then shift my position slightly to face him at an angle. Okay, so what's going on, mister? Tell me whatever you feel comfortable telling me, but don't deny something's up. Sasha sits silent, staring at his untouched beer. I take a few more sips of mine and then open my Twiglets. I love these salty buggers. As usual, the packet is half full. I could probably tip the whole lot into my mouth, but instead pick 2 out and pop them inside. I glance around the bar whilst chewing. It was like one of those places you saw in American films. Dark wood, a panelled bar, bottles of spirits hung upside down against the mirrored back wall for easy pouring, neon signage, beers and burgers. It was quite narrow, so when you look properly, it seemed to go far back a fair distance. I stick my fingers into my packet once more, only to find it's empty. I must have mindlessly eaten the whole packet whilst waiting on Sasha to speak. He pushed his packet over to me, and I realised that he's been sitting there, watching me. I smile tightly and take a couple of sips of my beer. Sasha finally lifts his pint up to his lips and downs half of it, never breaking his stare. Despite having worked together for close to 3 years, we'd never really had spent much time one-on-one together. And it just so happened that we were paired together for this work trip. Eventually, Sasha straightens up and clears his throat. I'm anticipating what he's about to say, but he doesn't actually say anything. I'm slowly losing patience. I could have had a beer in my room and still be wrapped in my bathrobe. As if he senses my irritation, he mumbles something like a curse and shifts uncomfortably in his seat. I pick up my glass and I take a couple of sips, watching him. He runs a hand through his dark hair and down the back of his head. I put my glass down and check my watch. We've been sitting here for 15 minutes. With the walk from the hotel and the distance to the booked restaurant, we would need to leave in about an hour and 10. Could I put up with this for all that time? The thought made me feel like shit. He was clearly going through something, and here I was, annoyed that I could be somewhere else doing nothing. I'm about to say something when the door opens and 3 of our colleagues walk in. One spots me and waves. I smile and wave back, feeling Sasha stiffen beside me. I glance in his direction. He's suddenly lost in his pint, finishing it in seconds. I'm going to leave. Wait, but before I finish, he's out of the booth and walking out the door, leaving me with a half-drunk pint and a packet of Twiglets to show for the rushed hangout. All I could do was lean back, open the packet, and wait for my colleagues to join me. Okay, I've got 2 more pages and then I'm done. Reading is hard, especially when you're trying not to trip over your own words. And also because I'm not like, there's no punctuation. I'm just like...
It's always so fluent when you're reading it in your head. Say that shit out loud.
I know.
Words become hurdles. I know.
Okay. 2 more pages, ready. And they're only small ones. So the dinner wasn't half as bad as I expected. I was set down to one of our media guys who had seen around but not spoken to, and he actually turned out to be hilarious. So I spent most of the night laughing at his endless stories of mayhem. It was a lovely ending to such a long day. Despite having showered earlier, I was back under the delicious waterfall of warm water, being careful not to wet my hair this time. It was too late to deal with it. Theo had messaged me a couple of times during dinner. Predictably, he'd got himself a pizza, but was making the most of her absence by watching a film he knew she wouldn't be interested in seeing. She couldn't wait to get home. Again, tense change. 3 days surrounded by your work colleagues is bad enough when you're in the office, but it takes so much more energy when you have to socialize with them in the evenings too. My bed was definitely calling me. The hotel room TV was on low volume and some random series was playing. I changed into my cotton oversized PJs and was about to do a running jump on the bed when I swear I heard a knock at the door. I stand stock still and listen. The TV light is flickering in the room, but no other lights are on. All kinds of horror scenarios start running through my mind, probably from all of these crime shows I keep watching. Did I lock the door? I glance over to see if I can see anything in the light coming underneath the door, but there's not much of a gap. It's been a few seconds since I thought what I heard was a knock, and I'd not heard it again. Maybe I misheard or imagined it. I suddenly realized that I'd been holding my breath. I slowly let out the air that I've been storing when I hear it again. Definitely a knock at the door. Who the hell could it be at this time of night? I tiptoe over to the door and peer through the spy hole to see a disheveled Sasha. I step back, confused. Sasha? Ada? You're in? Yeah, it's quite late, so of course I'm in. Sorry, yeah, I know. Look, could we meet up after breakfast? I need to talk to someone. I know we're not close, but could you meet me? Something feels off with him. His usual light demeanor felt heavy and lost. The fact that he'd come to me, a colleague who he'd only spoken to a handful of times but had been paired with for this trip, I couldn't say no. This feels desperate. Hey, yeah, sure. How about 10? I'll find a quiet meeting room and on the first floor and I'll text you. Is that okay? I just need to get my stuff together before we leave for the hotel first. And that's where I finished it so far.
Ooh.
So it's
Sasha
difficult.
at the door. I'm like,
I know,
ooh.
late at night. And I'm in my little towel and or my pajamas at this point. So it was funny because when I was writing it, I was having the other half read as I was going along. And it's something I've noticed about, obviously, sorry, context. The reason that you set me this challenge was because we were having a conversation about some guy who I used to go to school with making contact with me randomly after years of no contact. And one of the questions he asked was whether or not I was still writing, which I used to do a lot and haven't done in a very long time. So challenging myself to just write was something.
Yeah.
Not only whilst reading over it, but also reading it out, my thoughts change in regards to, am I in the present? Am I reading from a distance, like in terms of time has passed, so the tense has changed? And it's interesting how quickly they change, just in terms of that little bit, well, not so little piece that I just read out. The other thing is, I don't feel like I can write from anyone else's perspective but my own. So this is a made up story, but I have to put myself in that position. Otherwise, it just feels like random words.
Yeah. So first person or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Despite the fact that I then go into third person when describing certain situations. So interesting experience going back to it. Also, it felt hard and not at the same time because words flow, but then where am I going with this story? What happens next? And thinking about different areas, like how much detail do you go into? Something that the other half pointed out to me was like, when you mentioned at the beginning about her like moving, or you moving your hair, tucking your hair behind your ear, like what is the point of you writing that? Does that have some relevance to the situation? And he's going into these things and I was like, nah, that was just something I threw in there.
Sometimes it is just that though, isn't it? But that's kind of like how you humanize your characters. They do human things, you know? She's been pedaling on a bike, huffing and puffing. Hair's going to get loose potentially. So
yeah, exactly.
It brings it to life. It kind of rounds the character out. It's not always out of nervousness or something like that. Yeah.
I know. And I think
wow, girl, I'm just like, should we make this a segment? Because
no.
I want to know, what is Sasha's beef?
I know. I need to know as well.
And why is he knocking so late?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think like when you do write novels or any book, really, I don't know too much about this, so take this with a very big grain of salt. But I'm sure like even before you get to like the detail that you're writing in now, you kind of do like a storyline. So like Act 1, 2, and 3. And then you add like turning points and big bits of information you want to put through, and it's almost like you fill those gaps in. So writing how you're writing is probably gonna feel difficult because you've not fleshed out this story yet. So you're literally
Yeah.
just making up as you go along, so but I was in there. I could hear things, I could see things, I could hear you, I could hear Amy G in there, like a lot.
Yeah. I
Which is
know.
cool, knowing you as I do, like wanting to get out in time, calculating trip journeys, of course, the Twiglets.
I
We
know.
don't do
I had
half
to throw
pints.
I know. I had to throw in the thing. The Twiglets are
Yeah,
the standard. And I suppose that's why, like, when you're drawing on your own experiences, it makes things a little bit easier because you know
yeah.
exactly what's happening. Like that disappointment of how empty my Twiglet packet is, and the fact that I'm sticking my fingers back into the packet expecting more. Like, how many
And
times have we done that before? We've all had that
oh my God,
experience where you're just
it's
like,
the
oh my
worst.
God, how have I finished this packet? And I've not even
Mm-hmm.
realized that I've ate anything.
Yeah,
So,
that's one of the worst feelings. Haven't eaten the last one, not knowing it was the last one. Mm-mm.
yeah, there was no savoring of that moment at
Yeah.
all.
Criminal. But again, these little things, round out the character and just bring it to life. I feel like that was an excellent piece, given that you've not written anything for such a long time. Super proud that you actually did that, especially being on a holiday where it's easy to just like lay out and
Yeah.
do nothing. You kind of, made the effort to
But it was
focus on
quite
that for a bit.
nice, though, to be able to dedicate that time because that was nothing time.
Yeah.
And, otherwise I'd just be reading someone else's work instead of
Mm,
creating mine, which I did. And I found it quite interesting. So I started two books whilst I was away. One I finished, the other one was a lot harder to get into, but that's because it's like a kind of autobiography as opposed to just fictional.
okay.
Um, so and I noticed the chapters are short. In the book that I finished, like
Mm.
I felt like I just started a chapter and it finished. So
Oh, okay.
then what I had noticed was when I was writing my own, I felt like a scene, if you will, came to a natural finish. And I'm like, well, that's why eke this out when
Mm.
we're good here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, so it was a good exercise. The real challenge will be trying to keep that going now that I'm back and
Mm.
in doing all of the other things that you do when you're home as
Yeah.
opposed to when you're away. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But it was nice. It was nice to kind of like get back into it and just write some thoughts. I am very descriptive though, in
Yeah.
like what I can see, what I can feel, what I can hear. That's stuff that I bring into anything that
Yeah.
I'm writing. And I feel like that's because I want people to be able to see, feel, and hear exactly what I am or the character is.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like it's just enough as well because I've read stuff where there's just too much, description and you kind of lose the flow of the story. But I
mm,
feel like it's just enough where we're still moving forward. We still are like can see the bigger picture of everything. But yeah, it's just it's literally just painting the scene, which was nice. I mean, I do want some more. I'm not gonna lie. I want to know, as I said, what's up with Sasha. I think you should
well,
do it.
I'm not making any promises for next
I
week because you know
know.
what I'm like on a weekly
Not
basis.
for next
So
week, no, but
whenever it
at some
happens, it
point.
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
even if you could just do like a page every, even like once a week, because what we're like, we'll try and put like a proper schedule in place and then it will go to hell and then just like fuck the whole thing. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be. This is obviously was meant to be a fun thing. Um, and it's interesting, obviously, because now I was thinking as you were talking about having reading, that does not make sense. When you were reading those other books, that it does make you sort of think about your own. So I'm just like, ooh, she's like reading through the eyes of a writer now and not just a reader. So we're getting back on track. We're getting back on track.
I don't know. We'll see. I will make, I chose to write in a notebook. Okay. Because
Because
like, I don't know, the whole activity of actually writing something down instead of trying to type it on my phone.
oh God, no.
So
I think it's
and of it,
harder
what,
to
writing
type
things on?
your phone, yeah.
Yeah. But you always have your phone on you. So if I'm
Now
in a
that
moment
is
where
true.
something comes, now I'm like, oh, do I type it in my phone and then rewrite it into this, but which is long? Or do I just set up something on my phone and I'm just writing on my phone? So then I've always got it to hand.
That is a tricky one because I've been like writing bits of dialogue and bits of scene for years. Nothing has ever come of it. But sometimes I'll see something or hear of, or think of like a wicked one line. I'm just like, ooh, that's going down for the book or the series. Go, what book? What series? I don't know. But as you said, you've always got your phone on you. I don't, oh, I don't know. I think for you, it would probably work well to actually have something on your phone.
Yeah, just to
Because are you
capture
really
it.
going to be walking around with your notebook all the time? Probably not.
No.
And then also, because you're writing it down, whatever you do put in your phone is going to have to be fleshed out because it's not going to be a direct continuation from what you were writing, right? So,
Exactly. I mean, to say
yeah.
that piece already came from some random dream that I had. And then now, and
Yeah.
I've not even got to the dream
I was going to
content.
say, because I remember you sort of, you put the dream in the chat. I'm just like, what happens
Yeah,
next?
I know. So that's what
Maybe
spurred.
that's the goal. Get to the part of the dream.
Yeah, I know. And it was weird because I was like, you can't just go straight into the dream content because there needs content. Well, I need context.
I was just gonna say, like, why not?
I know.
You can literally tell the story however you want to. How
But
many
it's
times have we
weird
seen a movie where
because,
they start from one part and then it's just like three
yeah,
days previously? Like, you can do whatever the hell you want.
I know. I think in my head, it needed to be built up to that because you get there. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's the climax. So if you've got the climax at the beginning, what's the point in the rest? Like no one
It
orgasms and then
depends.
has foreplay. You know?
I mean, that's probably like the only instance where that doesn't work. But you could. It depends. You could start with the climax, and then if you go back, and depending on how you tell the story, you could be thinking, how the hell do we get there? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because two worlds could seem to be, that doesn't make any sense. The characters could be portrayed to be two worlds apart, and it's like, okay, we know it's going to go, but how the hell? And then also, once we
Yeah.
get to that point, what happens next is still something that we all want to know.
So it's for me, I guess because I had the climax already, this writing this down, fleshing this out is the how do we get there? How
Yeah.
did we get there? You know? So I've
Yeah.
gone at it backwards already.
Yeah.
So it didn't make sense for me to write it in
To write it that
way.
way. Okay.
Yeah. But even now, like writing that, I'm like, oh, it's tainted. It's tainted
Why?
because I know what the ending is. Well, not the ending, but I know.
No.
Do you know
Not
what I mean? So I'm like,
necessarily.
I don't know. It's in well,
But what you said in the dream, there could be so many different consequences that happen from that point. So it's really not.
yeah.
Really, the dream is like where shit just starts getting good. Do you know what I mean? We could go anywhere. This is me like trying to get you to write, but without trying to get you to write because I want to know.
Oh dear.
But well done, you. Super proud of you for doing that. Honestly. I do hope, without obviously, like, all jokes aside, like, no pressure at all. I hope that this is something that, like, a little fire's been started to
Yeah.
even get like a couple of lines down every now and then, you know? And if you
Yeah.
don't, you don't. But I feel like this has been a really nice reminder of the skill and the talent that you have.
It's definitely, I think it just came at a time that was right because, you know, the episode that I was referencing happened before I went away on holiday. And then
Mm.
I've had time out. And during that trip, I also had an encounter with someone who is retired and he's doing stuff that he wants to do.
Mm.
Like he's,
Yeah.
re-engaging with things that he loved but couldn't
Yeah.
engage with because life was
Life.
lifing. So, and he's just like, just do it. Do it. Doesn't matter what's
Yeah.
happening. And don't do it for anyone else. Just do it for you. Like, get back. And I had been thinking, oh, when I first moved down here, I was making a point of like doing a lot of painting and I'd set
Mm-hmm.
time aside. And then I was doing creating all of my birthday cards and bits and pieces and like had a goal to be creative, make a point of being creative. And then that stopped.
Yeah.
And I was already starting to think, what do I need to do to get back to being creative in any form? Like it,
Yeah.
and then the question came up about the writing and then being away on holiday and this guy being like, just be
Do the thing.
creative, just do the
Yeah.
stuff. Like, don't do it for anyone else. Just do a small bit at a time. And then I was like, right, okay, well, I've got this time. Let me engage in this challenge and getting back
Yeah.
into it. So I'm like, oh, okay, so it's actually happening. And it just makes me think about as well when we were talking about the ideas, how the ideas come to us and they
Mm-hmm.
sit with us and wait for us to do something with it.
Yeah.
And if we don't, then they move on to someone.
Someone else. Yeah.
So this is coming back to me and it's like,
Yeah.
hello, remember we used to do this
Ding,
stuff and
ding,
you
ding,
used to
ding.
enjoy it? Like, let's get
Yeah.
back to that. So I'm not making it a career or anything. It's just a part of myself that I want to explore a little bit more again
Yeah.
because she was there and
Yeah.
went on a break.
Sometimes that's the thing as well. Like, it's interesting that you said you're not making it a career because I feel like the times that we live in now, it's always like, okay, any time that we spend doing anything, how can we monetize off it?
Yeah.
Because for it to be monetized means it's worth the time being spent. But like, no, sometimes like just for the crack of it, just to feel good is reason enough.
Yeah.
Because when
definitely.
we, again, like this guy, once you retire, but you don't have to do the 9 to 5 or whatever, those are the things that you will come back to. But we don't have to leave it until we retire. Imagine like working 60 years to have 15 doing the thing you really want to do. I'm just, whatever.
Yeah,
It's
no,
probably
that's
going to
not
be more than
short, but
that.
it is.
But, just...
If you're looking after yourself, if you're in good health. Yeah.
It's crazy. We don't have to, like, why wait? I think obviously we get caught up in the way in which things should be done, but a little bit is better than none.
Yeah. That's it. I think that's the thing. It's just like if even if it's like, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour in 7 days, that is better than nothing.
Yeah.
And that is manageable. So
yeah. I wouldn't even go in thinking, oh, I'm going to write for 10 minutes. I would just like pick up the book and write for as long as you're able. Whether it's that Santino's barking at you for a walk or you need to go pee until something happens.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just like keep going.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Very proud. Well done, girlie.
I'm proud of myself. I managed to do a challenge that was set myself instead of being like, oh, yeah, another one I didn't do. Because I was literally just thinking, oh, it's like no time at all. And I was thinking, do you remember when you said that about the 3-minute abs that you're going to do for like 3 hours? That shit's not
How's
happening.
That going? Is it? Not. Is it going? It went.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, no, that's not happening at all. And I was thinking about that last night as well. I'm just like, okay, Today is a new day. It can still happen today. It's definitely not going to happen 3 times a day. I tried it once and I was just like, it's not practical for me to be able to try and do this 3 times, even though it's only 3 minutes, but it's the whole thing of like finding a space, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So yeah, once is feasible. And do you know what? The thing, so the 3-minute abs is actually a video that I follow. Someone does it for 3 minutes and I just replicate. And you do feel a difference in terms of your abs are tired. If you're doing it properly and you give it your all, your abs are tired after 3 minutes. Do you remember when we used to go to, was it Fitness First? And we used to do that 25-minute abs class,
25-minute abs.
The best.
I used to love, I think I was talking to someone recently about that period of time, you know. There was a stint where I was just always in that joint, just doing classes back to back to back. Like spin, then abs, then yoga, then go work out on like the main floor where all the exercise machines are. Oh man, what a time.
I know. Like,
what a time.
I was talking to my mum the other day about like going for a run, and I think I was actually on my way to the gym to do it, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to go and do this. It's like, you don't have to do it, but you're choosing to do it. And she was like, I remember when you used to like go out for like 50, 60-minute runs around the area. And, you know, you used to come back and you'd be sweating and you'd feel so good. And I'm just like, yeah, remember those days. God, the thought of that just fills me with so much dread. But
it's always fine, like when you're talking about it, but like when you're en route to it, it's just like, why am I doing this? I only ever seem to enjoy it after now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you have to get to a certain point, and I've noticed for myself, like I can't do the same route over and over and over again because I just get so bored. Like if it's something, even if it's a case of like I start on the same part and then I switch it up a little bit, just, you know, and so I'm changing what I'm seeing around me. But yeah, I don't know. I need to figure something out because I definitely do want to get back to a place where, not where I'm loving running, because that's never going to happen, but where I don't hate it so much.
Yeah.
And I know that actually I genuinely feel so good afterwards.
You do. It's incredible.
That's why I'm forcing myself through this, because I know I'm going to feel amazing afterwards. I'm going to feel such achievement of doing it and increasing the length of the runs and so on. So that's what I'm aspiring to. So I'm going to slog it out.
Oh, girl.
Until I get to that feeling, because I know it's coming. But it's just that first part of starting something again.
It's the worst. Yeah, I do want to get back to running as well. Like, I want us to do it that it's not Tough Mudder that we did that time. It was something.
No, some muddy race or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I do want us to do that next year. But then there's like a 10K that happens in my area every year, around about this time. And I've been saying for years that I want to do it. But next year, I really, really want to do it. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
I know.
It's out there, recorded, time-stamped, and I'm just going to work slowly to get back there.
I think that's the thing, is like you just have to do it in manageable chunks, because if you just go at it full on and be like, right, I'm doing 10K, and you only get 2K into it, you start really feeling disheartened. So you just have to break it down. I'm the same. I'm really, really, really keen to be able to run a half marathon. Like that's the distance that I'm aiming for. So I have to break it down. Like, let's get these 5Ks through, because that's just over, I think it's 3.1 miles. So it's just over 3. So let's just start there, be comfortable, And I am
Yeah.
okay with it. Like the problem is I think I'm running too fast at the moment. Like I can do the
Oh,
distance, but
okay.
I'm dying at the end of it. So I need to
Yeah.
slow it down a little
A
bit
little bit.
so that it's comfortable and I'm running it comfortably. And I'm like, don't worry about the time, just do the distance and
Yeah.
do that comfortably for a few times. And then let's extend it a little bit and then do that a couple of times and
Yeah.
then extend. So that's what I'm trying to do. But it's the motivation to get out
And
and
actually
do the
do it.
thing.
That's so funny. Because I've been saying the same thing, as in not trying to do too much. So you're physically trying to slow it down, and I'm mentally trying to slow it down and that's the challenge for me. Not trying to like put this crazy schedule together, or this like 6 days a week I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z. Like every time I think about it, I'm just like, oh, I could do it there and there and there and there, and then I might be able to do a week and a half, and then bodies mash up, shoulders
Yeah.
mash up, and then it just doesn't happen. So the challenge at the moment is to be happy and content with maybe like 3 days a week, you know, even though there's space and time to do more. And if I do, fair enough, but just being content with fewer sessions with the intention of being able to sustain that for a longer period of time, you know?
Yeah. I think that's the thing is
So,
that it has to be almost like a lifestyle. So you're
yeah,
not, because 6 days a week that's not sustainable.
yeah,
That's
not
if
at
you're
all.
like, you're aiming for a competition and you need to get yourself to
Yeah,
a certain place. But
yeah,
even your body, it needs time to heal
to
in between the
recover.
sessions. So
Yeah.
otherwise you are absolutely going to get an injury. And I think that's the thing for me is when I was trying this last time, so God, it
Mm,
must have been 5, 6 years ago. I sustained an injury, and
yeah,
that has since in my mind, I'm over the injury. It's all done. I'm back to good health. But
yeah,
because I'm like, I pushed myself so hard to this point and I got an injury, I'm scaring myself already.
yeah,
So mentally, I'm not in it
yeah.
because I'm like, but I might get hurt.
But what
Or I
if,
can't push
yeah,
myself too much, I might get hurt. So I
yeah.
have to, yeah, that's why I'm like, I've given myself plenty of time now to get to this because I have a goal in mind as to when I want to do this distance.
Mm,
So I'm like gone backwards and paneled it out.
of course.
No, by this point you should be at this distance. By this point you should be at this distance. And I don't like running in the sun. So actually this time of year is the perfect time of year,
Yeah.
you
This is great.
know?
It's still bright. You got that little breeze going that'll kind of cool you down.
Yeah.
Running in the sun is torture. Like, big ups to anyone that can do that. Like,
I
how?
don't know how. Yeah, how do you do it? Because I'm like, not only are you exerting yourself, so like you're sweating a lot more, um,
Anyway, yeah.
and you're also like the heat is you're
Mm.
just evaporating all of that good
Yeah,
hydration. And I hate drinking on a run. Like it's just not something I can do. I can't because in my tummy it's just making me feel sick. So I have to.
yeah,
I'll drink before you do your toilet break, and you go to the toilet when you finish. That's,
yeah.
that's like
Maybe you need to get some of those like electrolyte packets.
yeah
Yeah.
to help with the
I
thing.
don't know
I
why I
know it's
said
just
ill.
like
I just imagine them not tasting great, but at
I've
least they're not going
had
to be like
like a
sloshing
couple
around in your
try.
stomach.
No, but you can also do it with like jelly babies. Like have that
Oh,
short like
a
energy
burst.
boost to keep you
Yeah,
going, and it's easier. Well, from my experience, it's easier to carry around because I'm not
yeah,
taking a bum bag. Like they'll literally be like squished into my pocket,
yeah.
and I'd take one of those, be like, "That'll do," and keep
And
running.
off you go. Yeah, this reminds me, I need to actually put my playlist together because I'm starting back on Thursday now. But you need a playlist.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. When I was away and I did a couple of runs, um, I just found like a drum and bass kind of like run
Mm.
too. And the first track is the Stormzy one, Backbone. So I was just like, you ain't got no backbone. I was like,
And that will mess up your pace for real.
I know.
You start running like a Trojan.
I know. I'm just like every beat, just like,
Yeah.
And then realize I'm like, why am I dying? Why do I have a stitch? Which was happening because I'm running too damn fast.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't just put any old song on a playlist because they are essentially pacemakers.
Yeah.
So I literally have like cardio playlists and weight playlists. You just, because you'll mess yourself up. You really will.
Definitely. You can't have a slow track on when you're doing a run or like.
How do people do that? I know people that would listen to like slow jams, like R&B, Quiet Storm stuff. It's like, how?
No. I don't know how people are listening to podcasts when they're working out either. Like I can't do, unless you're just walking on a treadmill and then you don't
walk.
Yeah. If it's like the warm up, cool down kind of stuff, or you're doing those incline walks, which
that's where I am.
The buns are burning for those ones. Then cool. But if you need a pace, then I can't be, that does not help me because I'm just like, when is this going to be over?
I think it feels like the workout's taken longer than it actually is. You know, there's just like no momentum.
No.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. But yay you, yay us, yay all.
Yay all, yeah. So I did say that I was going to do something, and I just thought, seeing as I've actually completed my little challenge, I will bring it back to the pod. Because I do wonder sometimes that how many times people are like, so I wonder how they're getting on with this, and I wonder how they're getting on with that. And I'm just like, we ain't.
Listen, unless I bring it back here, assume it was not done. Okay? Don't ask me nothing. Well, no, you can ask me, but that's going to be the answer.
Yeah, you'll just hear crickets from my side. Cool. I feel like we've covered quite a lot because we did the whole Mormon wives. I did my little chat about my
story time.
Story.
How can we make this a segment? I mean, that was so cool.
You can bring your story next week.
Do you know what we could do? See how I love to set up a task and a challenge, and then it's just like, Mo, did you do the thing? I'm just like, shit, no, I didn't. Let me quickly do it now. But did you ever play that game like in school where you'd have like a piece of paper and everyone would like write one line to the story, fold it down, and then so maybe something like that. So maybe we can write like a paragraph, and then the one person will read it out, and then in the course of the next week, you write the next paragraph. So we sort of just build this story paragraph by paragraph.
Oh, wow. So we just have a paragraph bit, one person says it, and then the next week the other person has to
continue on. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm down.
You want to try that?
Yeah, let's try it. You can kick us off next week.
Okay, cool. Do you want to give us a topic or no?
No, you choose. As the person who's starting the story, you can choose.
All right.
Oh, it doesn't have to be next week. It could be the week after. It's whenever. But you start. You start.
All right, cool.
All right. Okay, so we've got a little challenge for a second. Yeah, cool. So I feel like probably now is the good time to wrap everything up.
I also have to pee, so we got to.
Nature is actually calling. So.
Always.
So thank you very much for sticking with us on this episode. As always, we appreciate you being here with us on our journey. I'm going to repeat the self thing. So if you haven't done it already, now is your opportunity to do it. Don't forget before you go. It's like when you're going on a journey, have you been to the toilet yet? This is your have you been to the toilet yet moment. Do it for self. Subscribe, engage, like, follow, or forward. We appreciate all of the above. So Mo, before we go, do you have anything to say?
No, just be good to yourselves, be good to each other, find a moment for creativity if you can. Just try your best.
Good little message. Yeah. Speaking to ourselves as much as to the listeners.
Always.
Again, thank you so much. See you here next week on It's All Frolics. Bye, folks. Have a good week.
Peace.